Hey everyone, Brett Mix for another WrestleMania review in the WrestleMania anthology that I'm going over in chronological order. Macho Wrestling 101, Macho Madness. Hit like and subscribe if you like the videos, and let's get on to WrestleMania 22. I just want to say, isn't it interesting that 10 years later history repeats itself? Look at WrestleMania 20 main event with the WrestleMania 30 main event. That history is repeating itself. Then look at WrestleMania 22 when they had John Cena, the babyface, go up against the Ultimate Heel, Triple H. And then look at WrestleMania 32. They have another face that the fans don't want to get behind, Roman Reigns, against the Ultimate Heel, Triple H. Same person goes over, same ending. In both WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 22, WrestleMania 32. Just an interesting little side note I thought I'd mention. WrestleMania 22 is the highest grossing one-day event ever at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Viscera last eliminated Snitsky in an 18-man interpromotional battle royal. Now let's get on to the pay-per-view, where the opening contest was Kane and Big Show defending the titles against Carlito and Chris Masters. Well, Carlito and Chris Masters weren't very good friends at the end of it, as they argued when at 6:41 Kane and Big Show retained the titles after Chris Masters accidentally crashed Carlito from the top. Then Kane put away Carlito after the chokeslam. Solid opener, nothing more. 2 stars and a quarter. Next up, we had the second ever Money in the Bank ladder match. RVD versus Ric Flair versus Finlay versus Matt Hardy versus Bobby Lashley versus Shelton Benjamin. Shelton was the standout in last year's, where Edge won. See who would be this year's. Ric Flair took a big bump off the ladder. The referees did the X sign. This is a work, so it was like a work shoot kind of thing. Maybe that's not the right phrasing, but it was a work. They put over Flair coming back out later in the match. Shelton Benjamin dropped the ladder onto the head of Finlay and set it up from a 45-degree angle. Shelton then charged up the ladder and hit a running senton on the top rope to all of the competitors on the outside with a huge flip. Unreal. Finlay goes to climb the ladder, but Flair... This is when Flair's bump happens, where the referee do the X sign and the fans chant Flair, 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 Flair. So that Shelton bump happened right before Flair went off the top of the ladder. I just said it in reverse order, that's all. Finlay drove Shelton Benjamin into the ladder. For some reason, Matt elects to attack Finlay instead of going for the case. He just decides to attack Finlay when the ladder was right there set up, and you could have just gone for the briefcase. Bobby began to climb the ladder in the center of the ring, but RVD took him down with a Van Taminator. Van Dam was all alone, and Van Dam was also a hero in this match. A star in the match, I should say. Shelton was in the first one. He is also in the second one. RVD was all alone and grabbed the case in the end as Chicago pops at 12:21. After he knocked Shelton, who was springboarded up from landing on the ladder on top of it from the outside to the floor. Josh Matthews called it a 5-star match. Not quite, but it was great. I rated it, a lot of great bumps that took place during this match. I rated 3 stars and a quarter. Last year I gave the first Money in the Bank from WrestleMania 21 4.5 stars, just for reference. So I think it was about a star less than that, but still a good, solid spot fest. Next up, we had JBL defending we had Chris Benoit defending the U.S. title against JBL with Jillian Hall. So this one was this was our first match of the night, where it was like more of a wrestling match. JBL was the power wrestler, Benoit obviously the mat wrestler. Both men brought aggression and swift shots to each other, stiff workers, both these guys. JBL had this turned into a brawl and a wrestling match all in one. JBL landed a superplex on Chris Benoit from the top rope to the canvas floor. Fans chanted, "Let's go Benoit." JBL went for the Three Amigos to bug Benoit about Eddie's death. Chris Benoit kicked out and then started to hit a snap suplexes to JBL. Benoit goes for the triple verticals, the Three Amigos, the fans cheer and chant Eddie. And Benoit then flies from up top and hits JBL with a diving headbutt and only gets a 2. JBL sent Benoit into the corner, and JBL held onto the ropes. Anything to get out of the German suplex by Benoit. Chris Benoit now locked on the crossface to JBL, but JBL rolled him over and held onto the ropes for leverage in the pinning attempt. And the pinning attempt turned successful at 9:44, so JBL became the new U.S. champion after rolling out of the crossface, holding the ropes for leverage, and pinning Benoit. Cole does his usual, JBL stole the damn match! Not this way! Damn it! This is a good wrestling match. A bit slow in parts, but Chris Benoit was Benoit, and he's always watchable in wrestling. So 3 stars. I rated it 2 stars 3/4 when I wrote this review, but I rewatched it and I give it 3 stars. Next up, we have Mick Foley versus Edge. I just did a review of this for a match of the day that I previously taped matches of the day. Like, I have about 5 or 6 ready to go, like, for each day. I don't just tape one each day. And I'd already reviewed this match, but I'll review it again just in simpler terms. Edge and Foley beat the fuck out of each other. That's as simple as it gets. Foley took some insane head bumps, while Edge, you know, the 2nd or 3rd degree burn, spear through the wooden table that burned, landed on like 100 thumbtacks, maybe 200 thumbtacks, still sticking out of his back. He's busted open from the barbed wire, or from his blade, but the pretend barbed wire. And yeah, Lita got some in the mouth. It was a brutal classic in a good way. I give it 4.5 stars. I give it 4 stars when I wrote it, but after I rewatched it, yeah, 4.5 stars. Edge defeated Foley at 14:37. Just like the Backlash match with Orton that would come a couple years after or before this, I gave that 4.5 stars. So this is also 4.5 stars. Next up, we have at the 5th match of the night at WrestleMania, we have the Boogeyman defeating Booker T. What? Wow. 3 years before this, Booker T is almost beating Triple H for the world title, and now here he is jobbing to the Boogeyman in 3 minutes. I rated a dud. And for them to disrespect Booker T like that, yeah. Next up, we had Mickie James and Trish Stratus for the women's title. A really good feud heading into this one. Mickie was really over with the Chicago crowd, who actually cheered her over Trish. Mickie did a ton of mannerisms in this match, some controversial, some riveting. Trish went down with her knee shot to the head. Mickie James delivered a high kick of her own chick kick to Trish. Mickie became the new women's champion after she put Trish away with a high kick. At 8:48, Ross says the nut job has won the title. The fans love it. This is the best women's match in WrestleMania history, and up there for company history to this point. This was Trish's last match at WrestleMania to this point. Terrific material. Obviously, I wrote this review before Trish Stratus' match at WrestleMania 27 or 28 or whatever it was. But so I'll echo different statements than my written review because Trish has been back a few times at WrestleMania. Yeah, it was the best women's match up until that point, and there was a spot in the match where Mickie came off the top, I think, with a DDT, and he was just hanging by the apron and just laughed maniacally, and the fans just loved it. They ate it all up. Anyway, I give that women's match 3 stars and a quarter, so that's extremely different than most women's matches at WrestleMania to this point. The Undertaker and Mark... I say to this point because there's been so many great ladies matches these days. The Undertaker and Mark Henry meet in a casket match. Undertaker was trying to come 14-0. This was just your typical big man brawl. Henry did what he could, but in the end, at 9:26, Undertaker won the match after a chokeslam, and he scooped up all the weight, and he actually hit the tombstone on Henry. So I'll give it 2 stars for that alone. Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon in a no-holds-barred match. I didn't understand why. I mean, the feud, I get how it came about, but it just seemed contrived. Just really like self-indulgent, obtuse, all those kind of definitions you could use. I don't know. They gave this match 18-28. Michaels put him away after sweet shit music and the suck it thing off the top ladder. And Vince bumped well. I'll give it 2 stars and 3/4. But it took too much time, and it was 18-28. They could have given that to the next match, which is Mysterio, Angle, and Orton. That only got 9 minutes. Give that world title 15 minutes and take off 5 to 7 minutes of the other match. That would have been perfect, but we only have what we have. Ray, Orton, and Angle put on a pretty great spot fest here. Like, there isn't anything in terms of psychology or selling or anything like that. It's just spot after spot, and those can be fun, especially if it's a triple threat match. In the end, Ray won at 9:18 after he put away Orton. Ray sprungboard into a Hurricane Rana pinning combo off the top rope. The finishing spot went. Angle yelled, "Get up!" at Ray. Angle goes for the angle slam on Ray, but he hits an arm drag counter that takes Angle out of the action, through the ropes to the outside floor, sending Angle that way. Now Ray was all alone with Orton with momentum. Ray dropkicked Orton to the ropes, run off the ropes, and connected with 619, and then a springboard Hurricane Rana to Orton, and that's how he did it at 9:18. So, as I said, spot fest in a good way. Good triple threat match. Rey Mysterio became the champion. It was kind of hard to believe at the time. It still kind of is, but I gave it 3 stars. If it was longer, it could have been a classic. Next, we had Tori Wilson versus Candice Michelle. I give it a dud. Tori does a stink face with her dog Chloe to Candice Michelle, so I think that's enough of a description for that match. Next up, we have the main event, John Cena versus the King of Kings, Triple H, for the WWE title. As I said at the beginning of the review, it's kind of like WrestleMania 32 when Triple H took on Roman. This is them desperately trying to get Cena over. The fans made it a match, though. Chicago is Chicago, man. Like CM Punk and Cena, Austin Brett. Chicago knows how to cheer a crowd. Even Flair and Steamboat, the Chi-Town Rumble. They know how to react to a wrestling match, and thank God they were awake and alive for this, and they made it a spectacle. A lot like Rock Hogan, where the fans made it. This match, the fans also helped it. Because of it, it's sort of a WrestleMania classic because of it. It's one of Triple H's better matches. I give it 4 stars. At 22:02, Cena made Triple H tap to the STFU as he retained his title. What did they rename the STFU? I know they renamed the FU, the Attitude Adjustment. Did they even rename the STFU? I can't remember right now for some reason. Nonetheless, like I said, the crowd made the match much better than it was, but you gotta give both guys credit for going out there and putting on a fine contest. I rate this WrestleMania 22 7.5 out of 10. The Mania was good overall. When you grade the matches, you see that there's more good matches than not. That's always a good thing. There's a couple duds on the show, but nothing bad enough to take any points away. So WrestleMania 22 7.5 out of 10. For Macho Wrestling 101, I'm Brett Mix, and we'll see you on the next one.